and anything
Saturday, I worked for a little bit.
is theoretically a public record.
Chicken coop up the old home set out there.
No, my nephew's actually just looking for one. Where do you want it at?
The house that we got up there. Debbie and I got a house up on Sheffield and Washington up there.
Oh, that.
Okay. 4 quarters of it, chicken. Anything works fucking crazy on it. The over under. We got chicken.
The over under.
They can sell them like down, I think at Marlene they got pretty decent little ones for like $100. Farmer Fleet has them too.
Oh, okay. Oh, good.
Nice little ones.
All right.
They're going along. They make them now.
Everybody's ready here, huh?
Oh, it don't take long.
Call to order the regular common council meeting, Monday, May 2nd, 7 p.m. Roll call.
Fry?
Here.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Thomas?
And Alderperson Thomas is excused tonight. Next item is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. Confirmation of appropriate meeting notice.
Meeting notice was posted at the library, post office, and city hall on Friday, April 29th.
Council acceptance of the agenda.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Is there any thought to moving the number 9 of Lyle Maves up closer to the top so he doesn't have to stay here? Unless you want to punish him, that's up to you guys because it's an odd number of votes here, so I won't have a say in that.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Sounds good.
Moving it up or leaving him there?
Let's move it up. Let's be nice
I'll take
tonight.
the motion.
Who made the motion?
Candy.
Okay. Motion and a second to amend the agenda to move Lyle up to probably the next item, huh? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, the next item is to consider the declaration recognizing Lyle Maves for his time he spent here. Where'd he go?
Come on up.
Oh, he's hiding back there.
Come on down.
The real
press is
Lyle,
right.
please stand up.
I will read this. Grammatically incorrect because it's one sentence. City of Edgerton Declaration recognizing and honoring public service to the City of Edgerton by Alderperson Lyle Maves. Whereas Lyle Maves admirably served the residents of the 1st District and the entire City of Edgerton as Alderperson from September 14th to April 2016. Whereas Lyle Maves' tenure on the Edgerton City Council coincided with the construction of the Reinhardt Warehouse Development Project, the reconstruction of Racetrack Park, street construction of Business Park, and the wastewater treatment plant upgrade project. And whereas Lyle Maves served on the Finance Committee, Public Works Committee, Edgerton Fire Protection District, and Personnel Committee. And whereas the City of Edgerton was served well by Lyle Maves through his time as Alderperson, as he established a legacy of honesty, leadership, dedication, and now therefore be resolved, the City of Edgerton, Common Council, on behalf of the entire City of Edgerton, hereby recognizes and honors Lyle Maves for his public service. And the citizens of Edgerton, as Alderperson, commends him for his dedication to the community and thanks him for his active role in many activities and wishes him well in future endeavors. We need a motion now before that.
I'll make that as a motion, Chris.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Thanks for all your work, Lyle.
Thank you, Sam.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. You'll be good.
Thanks, Lyle.
I should have a whole send to you.
And then the next issue is a public hearing to hear comments regarding the City Council's intentions to exercise special assessment police powers for sidewalks on Highland and Park Avenue. Little background before we go into it, or
If you'd like.
just A little bit.
There will be a public hearing shortly regarding the sidewalk installation and repair on Highland and Park Avenues. It is city policy that under a street reconstruction, by definition, sidewalks would be installed on any street that's being reconstructed, so that is the topic of the public hearing this evening. Ultimately, the council will consider, after taking testimony, a resolution to approve or deny the special assessments, which would be, in effect, approving or denying the sidewalks.
Thank you. Did receive a petition from a number of people up on Park Avenue. Not quite 100% for some reason. The guy that told me he had 100% and he didn't sign it, so that's why we're here tonight again. So, or part of the reason why we're here tonight. That's actually sidewalk and later agenda item. So, public hearing, we're going to do a little different. We're going to take these slips that everybody filled out, ask them to go up to the microphone there so we can get a good recording on it. A lot of the recording isn't picked up when it's out in the audience. And I'm going to call you off as I pick them off here. And Jane Witt's on top, so state your name and address when you get up there, please, and then tell us what you want to tell us. This is just the sidewalks. Yep.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jane Witt. I live at 607 Park Avenue, Edgerton, Wisconsin. Lived in Edgerton my whole life. Never moved away. Love the city. And I always want to do what's best for the city. But in this case, I'm opposed to the narrowing of Park Avenue. It's a road that goes to nowhere. We like that wide street, and I think we should consider just leaving it as is and resurfacing it, and we don't need sidewalks on the other side of the road.
Okay. Right now, we're just talking the sidewalk. So,
Okay, just sidewalks. I don't believe there's a need for a sidewalk on the golf course going towards the end. Can I speak later if I need to?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. And the next one is Jeff Rothy.
I get to follow my sister. And that's how it should be. My name is Jeff Rothy, and I sat for many years in this chambers. It wasn't this chambers. I've stayed out of municipal politics, but I feel I've got to come. And I've got to come and support my sister. I'm not representing anyone other than myself and my views here. The resolution for assessing sidewalks should be turned down. And it should be turned down for the various reasons that and it goes back to your meetings, and I wanted to answer the earlier meeting, and I want to answer the public statements that were made. The reason why no one came to the meetings in which the narrowing of the Park Avenue was discussed was because your agenda totally improper, and it did not give notification to any of the property owners that this was for Park Avenue, and that the potential result of adopting a resolution was that it would be a reconstruction of the street when you narrowed it, and that would require sidewalks. And I've heard from most of the people here, no one in that street wants to have sidewalks. No one wants to have that narrowed. And if you look at your agenda for the Public Works Committee, it's totally inadequate. And when I say inadequate, the agenda that was for the meeting states, this was your October 5th meeting, discuss and consider Park Street project. We've got two Park Streets in this town. One is Park Lane and one is Park Avenue. Doesn't identify what it is. So as a result, no one really knew what was happening. And then when they did find out what was happening, they did come to the meetings and they were told it's too late. Where were you? at the time. Well, nobody got the notification, and here's your official publication. You ought to read that, because that does not identify anything that was done at that meeting. And that disturbs me. I'm here for good public government, and good public government, our statutes require it to have notification to people so that they know what's happening, and they're entitled to have the fullest and most complete information regarding the affairs of government. They didn't get it, and that's why they didn't come here. And I want to say that in my opinion, and this is my own opinion and no one else's, that the meeting that was held that night and the result was in violation of the Wisconsin open meeting law. And as a result of that, a violation means the decision is voidable. Well, you made a mistake. The council and the committee made a mistake, and you need to correct that mistake. And you can do that by stopping the work, entering into a new contract or an amended contract for the work, and I see someone else put that on the agenda tonight, and that's smart, because if you make a mistake, the covering up of the mistake is worse than the mistake itself. You got to correct the mistake, and that's what I'm urging you to do in correcting that mistake. And there's, and according to that street, I know it because my father bought a cornfield back in the mid-50s. And the cornfield there was then developed into 4 lots. And Lowell Halverson's has the house next door, which was the old Lund house. That was the only house in the Schultz house up on the hill. And all there were gravel roads leading to that. Well, the road was laid out for the purpose of having a beautiful wide road that allowed parking on both sides of the street. And because it was a road that went to nowhere, they didn't want to have or approve a cul-de-sac at the time, so they just had a dead end. And now you can turn around on that dead end in front of what Stan Mitpo's house is, or now it's owned by Larry. And that was the reason why it was so wide. And all these people here that are mad because what's happened, because when they bought their houses on that street, it was a nice wide street, and now you're going to narrow it down. And nobody wants it. And nobody had any input in it because the meeting notice never let people know what was going to happen there. And so is it on the agenda that you are going to vote to narrow the street? No, it's not. And the only notification they ever got about that was that later on when they came to the meetings. Now I want to point out one thing, and I'm here for good government. And I don't mean to lecture the alderman too much, but I have to. If you've got someone in your community that has a major project that people feel that are going to adversely impact their neighborhood and their house, you've got the duty to go and talk to these people and say, this is what we're going to do. And this is what we want to do. And get your input on that. Not just let it go silent and later on say, well, it's too late. Because it's never too late to correct a mistake. Now, I just want to make one other comment, and that is that my sister Jean came down to City Hall, and she asked to get the copies of the minutes.
No, Dave Gorski.
Okay. Dave?
No.
Somebody told me that they came down, and they were told that they had to get an attorney to draw up a petition.
The reporter guy that I talked to, I wanted to know, and he looked back, and he called City Hall reporter.
Okay.
And he was told that you had to have a lawyer to get told.
Okay, but I wanted to correct you. That's not correct. Anybody
And we
in this
wouldn't have said
community...
that.
I don't believe that's factual. I mean, you don't even know where it came from.
No,
so
I don't,
to,
but anybody...
to sit there and say that that's a factual statement, I disagree
I want to
with
make
that.
one point clear, and that is that any member of this community has the right to come into City Hall and get minutes and get documents. You don't have to hire a lawyer to do
And
that.
apparently somebody did.
We know that, Jeff.
Apparently they received them without a lawyer.
Oh, yeah, it's on the agenda. I mean, it's on the website. That's how I got it. And that's good that you have it, but I want to make sure that's clear, that any citizen has a duty to hear what's going on and a right to hear what's going on. Okay, we're opposed to that, at least I personally am. I live on Chamberlain Street, so I'm not impacted by this, but I have property in all three problematic districts. And I want to say this, that we want to have open government, and you need to have agendas that are going to alert people to what it is. And I got to tell you, just posting it at the post office or posting it at City Hall is normally not good enough when you got a big issue like this. These people didn't know what was happening, and now that's why they're here tonight. And they're angry and mad, and we need to get this cleared up. So correct your mistake, stop the work, and then leave Park Avenue the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Any legal response at all? No? Okay. Meredith Vidioli.
I think we need to make sure they know this is not about the street width.
Meredith Vidioli, 616 Park Avenue. I just wanted to come, and I know we were fortunate enough to speak on the phone the other day and voice in support of all my neighbors that nobody on the street is interested in having sidewalks, and I am absolutely one of those people. I know the street narrowing is a separate issue. I'm not interested in that either. Exactly like Jeff said, when we bought our home there 6 years ago, it was because of the setting and the layout of the neighborhood. It's a nice, quiet, dead-end street. Nobody drives down it except Lowell, who's got to go to the end to get home. I feel that it's a safe road the way it is for my kids, and we don't need changes made, narrowing or additional sidewalks.
Thank you. I didn't realize you didn't check off the wish to speak thing here. Where's that pile? Thanks. Adam Lenars.
So we used that kind of as a pension record. It's kind of funny that did all that legwork. So there was a lot of legwork that came into having this discussion. I know we're talking just about sidewalks, but just about having that added to the agenda. So I want to really thank everybody that was involved with that. From our neighborhood, Chris fielded a lot of calls. Ramona, you spent a lot of time with me. I appreciate that as well. Matt as well. And Candy, I talked to you quite a bit too. Mark and you and I had a chance to speak once, so I appreciate that. And John, you're kind of jumping on this. So again, thank you for holding the meeting. So specifically to the sidewalk, I am not interested in that. It is a very quiet street. It's hard to discuss it without actually addressing the narrowing as well, but just to try to stay on topic with the sidewalk. There's a sidewalk that's on the south side of the road. It really doesn't see any use. I don't see the addition of a sidewalk on either side of the street when you have a golf course that's on one side, a couple of homes, the Lowell property, and the guy's property as well. It doesn't make logical sense to do that. And Ramona, one of the things that you and I talked about in that meeting was that government has a difficult situation where when they have standards or policies for when they're doing construction to do certain upgrades and things that are ideally for the best interest of the community. And that makes sense to a certain extent. When there's situations where you have 100% of the neighborhood where we live saying that this is not something that's a benefit to our area, we moved into that area because of the way that it is. It would be nice to keep it that way. Because not only would we appreciate it that way, but other people, if we chose to move, which I don't have any intention of moving myself personally, but other people that would move into the area could also appreciate it for those reasons. Park Avenue is a really neat area. I learned from Mr. Whipple, and I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but Park Avenue had acquired the name Park because it was really new and up on the hill, and my house is actually the highest point in Edgerton. I can look out my western bedroom and look out onto the city. And from what I understood it, it's Makeout Point. It was called Park Avenue because people used to go up there and park. So in keeping something like that is unique, not standardized, I mean, we've already heard from a couple of people that, just about this history, to change it and add things that I don't think are going to benefit it, that are going to keep it unique, is a much better choice. I get what Ramona was saying as far as doing things. It's difficult to make decisions when there are so many people that are opposed, but it's a benefit. But again, I might be reiterating myself or repeating myself, but it doesn't appear to be a benefit. We don't see it as a benefit. The residents of Park. So I don't want to beat a dead horse. Probably a lot of people are going to say similar things, but that's where I stand.
All right. Thank you. Ryan Bibrow, there he is.
Hello, everybody, members of the council. My name is Ryan Bibrow, 630 Park Avenue. I was born in Edgerton, grew up in another small town just up the road. Some of you may know Stoughton. I moved to another state for school, spent some time traveling elsewhere. Have lived in larger cities, spent about 4 years living in Madison, right downtown, and then after I was done with all that, I came back to my hometown, to the place that I was born, to work with my family and the company we've been running here for over 60 years, IAI. And, growing up in a small town, I kind of understood how small towns worked. I kind of, grew to like small towns. And it had been a while since I had been in Edgerton, and coming back and moving to our small farm on the edge of town, I, kind of started to take a lot of pride in Edgerton and coming back to my family's company to work. And the employees, the people from the community who I worked with, who were striving to make our community and county, Wisconsin, better. I started to get involved in a lot of community activities as soon as I got here. Participated with the Chamber of Commerce, was president of the Central Lutheran Church, and started to really more and more get into what was going on here. Haven't gotten into city government yet, which I see why there's challenges, which is why why I haven't. Thank you to all you people for dealing with difficult problems like this. I know it isn't easy. As we all know, we've got an election coming up, and some of us are feeling a little bit frustrated with our government, on the national, maybe state scale. And one of the reasons why I'm feeling frustration, and a lot of people that I talk to, is because government is more and more separated from us. It's run by people who are making policies and carrying out laws just because of their policies, and not because what makes common sense good for the people. I think a lot of us, again, on the national stage, feel like we really don't have a voice in what's going on with our government. It's one of the reasons why I appreciate small towns. Why spending a couple years in Madison and having some friends in politics there, realizing that's just crazy. That's another level. Coming back and knowing some of you personally, knowing Chris Lund for many years, and Ramona, Matt, other people. It really is important to me, and I think a lot of the other people who choose to move into a small town like this is that it really is a place where we work together to make decisions about what happens in that town, and it's normal people, coming, giving their time, to make those decisions, and, in many cases, people coming from the community. I think that, we need to see in this case of Park Avenue that government in our small town shouldn't be about just enacting policies because it's on a piece of paper, but listening to the thoughts, the feelings, the problems, the fears of our townspeople, and allowing you all to make an informed decision based on not just what you've got in your mind as being good policy, or a stubborn sense of this, we've been charged with this ability, so we're going to do it. I implore all of you tonight to listen to your citizens and to be just a little bit better than some of the other levels of government that we're dealing with in our country right now. And hopefully we can continue to make America great, from the course of a small town, this and many others that have, people making common sense decisions based on what citizens really need and desire. So, thank you.
Thank you. David Gorski.
David Gorski, 618 Park Avenue, and basically everybody's pretty much said. Anything else that I could add to that, except for one thing. I did call a reporter, and he did tell me that you need a license to get, that's what he told me, that's all I can tell you. So you might want to talk to who I talked to in the reporter, and if you want to know who it is, I'll tell you when the reporter's not here.
It's only our job.
And of course, I'm against the sidewalk. Now, the other thing, I was looking at this memo that we handed out, and evidently alternate number 2, if you look at the back, Easy Street is 44 feet, 112,997, okay? Then on the maintenance cost down below, Park Avenue will cost an additional $28.35 each time the street is seal coated, okay? Has not been seal coated since 1974, so I don't know about the 8 to 10 year. The other thing I would say is that if indeed it's stated that width that everybody seems to want without a sidewalk, it might be something to be a whole lot less than what you're going to assess us for sidewalks, and maybe we could pool our money and pay that $2,800 every 8 to 10 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Lawrence Mitbo.
Hi, I'm Larry Mitbo. I'm the Secretary of State of Stanley Mitbo at 631 Park Avenue, and had graduated from Edgerton High School, lived here most of my adult life, and own property in town, and am obviously here because I'm upset about a variety of things that are going on. I think that we tried to put things back into the community, support the community, both personally and through our business. And it pains me to observe the way that the city council is not really listening to the wishes of the residents on the street. I understand the need for sidewalks. Some of you remember I took issue with the sidewalk program before, and it's a tough issue. I'm not opposed to sidewalks in certain areas. As a matter of fact, I made a suggestion the last time we had this issue, the last time I was involved, and said that an easy system would be, if you really want to do it all over town, then put up, when somebody sells their house, go to it. That's a whole other issue. I'm concerned that, number one, the mistakes that were made with the notification with Park Street, because it was unclear. It was I don't know if it's a typo or a mistake. You did not notify the residents. Obviously, back in October, had more people known about it, I think you would have seen this a lot faster. Secondly, I also know that in the city, you've made exceptions to other streets that you've done improvements on, Blanchard Street being one of them, and you did not enforce the ordinance in that respect. Here, you've got 100% of the property owners and residents that do not want this project to go forward. Just driving around Edgerton, there are a lot of streets that people would like to have the potholes filled. Park Avenue is not one of them. Most people would be down here complaining because their streets aren't very good. I guess I would urge that the city reconsider what's going on and listen to the people here and make the right decision. I think Jeff said it right. Okay, maybe a mistake was made. Now it may be a time to correct that mistake.
Thank you. Lowell Halverson.
Lowell Halverson, 629 Park Avenue. These are tough acts to follow. I'm not even going to attempt. I spoke my piece once. Definitely, I'm against sidewalk for a variety of reasons. Number one, they neither one of them will go anyplace. The end of Park Avenue will go down into Mitbo's woods. There'll never be any building down there. The street will never go through. Never will be. You go the other way, okay, where are you going to go? Down to Chaucer Street? Down the hill, see the hill there? It's going no place. And of course, I've got a deep concern because I have a lot of frontage. But I won't get into the streets or anything else. You people did a great job, so that's all I have to say. Thank you. Thank you.
Mike Wilcox.
Mike Wilcox, 614 Park Avenue. Got involved in this late. I apologize, I wasn't at some of the earlier meetings. Definitely against the sidewalk construction. I think we're taking out 12 feet of reasonably good asphalt and curb and narrowing the street and putting a 5-foot or 4-foot sidewalk. I think it's 5-foot width sidewalk. Doesn't make sense. We're losing street. The parking areas, as we had parties up there recently, you can't get up the street when it's 32 feet wide. It's a cat and mouse game as you're leaving out, going out Highland. And we're going down to a street width that doesn't make sense. It's been built, it's been there. Reconstruction, from what I see in the back, I could argue with that all day long about your monies that you're saving and doing this. I think milling and grinding that asphalt, that road, the last time that sewer was touched was when we built our house. Last time anybody got onto that sewer. I remember it. And the only settlement on the whole street is one pothole from my driveway. So I think going back in and disrupting, I think your base course is probably good enough. And being in the industry, I think we could get by with a lot different street and process, and the money could be spent better in other places in the town than on Park Avenue. So I'm against the sidewalks, and if there's more conversation about the narrowing of the street, I can jump back up again. But thank you for your time. Appreciate your effort.
Thank you. Margaret Collins.
Well, I don't live on Park Avenue. I live on Highland Avenue, and my name is Margaret Collins, 17 Highland Avenue. And the letter that I just have a question. The letter that I got says, your property is not scheduled to have any sidewalk work that will result in a special assessment. You're receiving this notice to ensure you that if it is determined a section of your sidewalk needs to be repaired, the city will make the repair and charge you. Who's going to make that determination, and when is that going to be done?
The only change from now for for what we know is to be repaired is if we were, during inspections, when we were out in the field doing this work, if we were determined that a square of sidewalk didn't meet the standard. So it's very unlikely that would be the case, but we wanted to give you every opportunity to participate.
Well, I just wanted to know, because I know there have been some squares of sidewalk on my street marked to be
Correct.
replaced, but
Correct.
nothing in mine, so.
Correct. That's why you received the
So if
letters.
they change their mind and they decide I need something, then they'll let me know. Huh?
Correct.
That's all I want to know.
Thank you. Okay. And then also, thank you to those that checked this off. There are 5 other ones that checked. I'm not in favor of the special assessments. 6 if you count Meredith, since I made her come up and talk. So that covers everyone that signed up. Now, is there anyone that didn't get an opportunity to sign up that wishes to speak? Okay. Well, I think I'll officially close the public hearing then and move it on to the council to consider the City of Edgerton Resolution 0916 preliminary resolution declaring the City of Council's intention for the 2016 Highland and Park Avenue sidewalk program to exercise special police assessment police powers.
I'll make a motion to deny Edgerton Resolution 916 preliminary resolution declaring the City Council's intentions for the 2016 Highland and Park Avenue sidewalk program to exercise special assessment police powers.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, couple seconds. Discussion.
Now, just to clarify, you're making a motion that we do not move forward with the
sidewalks.
Oh, so there will not be any with this motion? Okay.
Motion passes.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, no sidewalks, no sidewalks.
Gotcha. I just wanted to make sure everybody knows, including myself mainly.
So the resolution, if we vote yes, there'll be no special assessments for sidewalks.
Yes, the motion is to deny it. So there is one thing that I'd like to say. First of all, I commend all of you for pulling together and the time that you put into this. I would like to say that the reason why I'm really against the sidewalks for this particular street or avenue is because of a lot of the things that you said. It goes nowhere. It's not a through street. I think if it were a through street, it'd be a little bit more difficult situation or more conversation, but it does not go anywhere. It's a dead end. So from my perspective, I'm fine with no sidewalks from there. I just want to make sure that that is very clear, because I know we'll have other questions and issues as time goes on for other sidewalks, and I don't want us to have to set a precedence, but because I'm a sidewalk person, I think it's good that we have sidewalks and we walk and the kids can ride their bikes, but where it does make sense. So I just want to go on paper as saying because of the placement or where this street is, it makes sense for no sidewalks.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I've been going up there my whole life, probably since the late 50s, early 60s, and it's so unique up there, as stated up there. My grandma lived up there back in the 50s and 60s, old lady Jake, they called her, right down from the Schultz house. And it is unique, and we did other sidewalks and streets in town also, Candy, I agree with you, like Garfield and Blanchard, a couple other streets. We kept there was a millwright on Garfield, but we didn't touch the sidewalks, spot curb replacement, and it's a unique area. Garfield down the Walker Way down there, in Blanchard, and there's various other streets around town too. But it's unique, and what you hit on, democracy in action right there. That's a key point right there. That's what's happening.
If I could, one point of clarification, Blanchard was completed prior to this ordinance being put into effect.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Ramona.
I would like to, if I can comment here, and somebody mentioned we shouldn't just follow protocol as far as our policies are concerned. But again, if we're here to make decisions and there's nobody out there to guide us, we fall back on these policies, figuring that that's the best route to take then if we have no guidance from the citizens. And I really don't appreciate when somebody comes in and says, we don't listen to you guys, when because of you guys spoke up, now we have issues on this agenda because of you. So it drives me nuts when you sit there and say that we do not listen to you. Because what got us to the point before this was because nobody was there to speak to us. And for me, for people to say that we should go door to door talking to people about different issues, I don't think that's realistic. So I guess that's all I have to say there.
I personally like going door to door when it comes to issue like that.
Of course you do, Matt.
I personally like going door to door. That's my job as an older person. You voted me in. When it comes to a project of this magnitude, I go to door. I try to.
I'm frustrated too.
It is my duty and responsibility to go to the doors and knock for something like this. And, but a lot of people came down back in January, and that message was sent then, or February, when we came to this project. That message was sent then, you know. To me, it was. So I thank Alderperson Walnuts for making the motion, and Kenny Davis seconded that. I think it's a proper thing. I thank him.
Yeah, I will just say that it is good to see you people all here, but I'm going to have to agree with Mark. It'd be nice to see people here not only for big issues, for some of the other issues, to help us make decisions. And I got to agree with what he says. If there's not people here to give us direction, then we fall back on what's on paper. We use that as a guideline. And you guys coming here tonight, all of you, was very beneficial for the cause. But going forward, we need more of that from everybody. So, but I do appreciate every one of you coming out. Every one of you were very well spoken, and I appreciate that. So, that's what I got.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight, and also all the phone conversations I had. Everybody was very pleasant. It really was. It was kind of nice, you know. Yeah. I'm in the phone book. I keep the landline just because of this. I was going to get rid of it if I didn't get reelected, so that's why it's in there. And there is 2 Christopher Lunds in there. Mine's with a W on Terrace Court, so that's the one you got to call. If you're calling the other one, I think it just goes into Charter somewhere and doesn't show up anywhere. But yeah, and thanks for putting up with us too, and what we have to do here.
I would say stick around for the narrowing and width later in the agenda.
Okay, anyone else? New guy? No? I don't want to put you on the spot. First meeting.
This is your hazing.
Yeah, right.
Can't wait for the second one. Thank you very much for everyone taking the time to come out here. Obviously, you've put a lot of passion, thought, and research into this. I spent the afternoon walking over to Park Ave and taking a look at what this was all about, this hoopla, and I can see where you're coming from. I get it. Make out the point, Adam. That's the unofficial. It's the street that does it. It can't help it. But again, I can't really add anything else of significance to this. I would say thank you very much for your involvement, and really, please do come back and visit and be involved in the city's process and give us feedback. Call us, email us that you're involved and interested, because the world is ultimately run by the people who show up, and it's good to have a forum and a dialogue in the community.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, everyone. Motion is to deny the resolution. Roll call.
Mark Walnuts.
Yes.
McIntyre.
Yes.
Chris Walnuts.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Fry.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Okay, we'll move on from that issue.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you again for being here. Next item is personal appearances for non-agenda items. Is there anyone out there that wishes to speak on anything that is not on the agenda tonight? Okay, we'll move on to the minutes from April 18th.
A motion to approve?
I'll second.
Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Committee reports with Finance and Mark.
Motion to approve bills and payroll list in the amount of $164,082.33.
A second.
Any questions on the bills? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Fry?
Aye.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
Motion passes.
No licenses tonight. 3, consider facade sign grant for 207 West Fulton Street in the amount of $149.79.
I'll second.
What is the business located at 207? Is that a business?
Yes, it is. It's the Sparrow, Blue Sparrow.
Oh, okay.
See it out the window. Their sign, very attractive.
Any other discussion?
Who was the second on that? I'm sorry.
Me. Matt.
Roll call.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve a public event packet from Edgerton Lions Club for Dash Against Diabetes and consider requests to waive the fees.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
Motion passes.
5, consider, or motion to approve public event packet from Arts Council of Edgerton for Edgerton Clay Day and Pottery Festival and consider requests to waive the fees.
I'll second.
Okay, are we considering the request, or are we?
I was just questioning on the last
Waiving
one
the
to
fees.
to waive the fees.
Your attention?
Any other discussion, other than I got invited to participate in that over the weekend? In a competition of some kind? Okay, roll call.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
Motion passes.
6, motion to approve a public event packet from the Edgerton Conservation Club for Kids Fishing Derby and waive the fees.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Thank Kevin and Bonnie for all the work they put into that. Roll call.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Fry?
Aye.
Well, the next one is to consider the change order number 1 for Highland and Park Avenues.
So I'd like discussion on that one,
Yeah.
definitely.
Have the memo that was given to us today after the city engineer did some work over the weekend. You want to do any background on this, or is it something that we?
If you'd like. The request, based on several citizens making a request, is to consider a change order for Park Avenue. If a change order, currently the project has been bid as a narrow street, a 32-foot wide street. So if there is a change order approved, that might modify that. That's the question this evening. If there is no change order approved, then the project would proceed as it has been designed and bid. So the mayor asked for some costs, which the city engineer developed, and hopefully there's staff reports you may have received that were available. There are 3 options to the current circumstance of the narrower bid option of a 32-foot wide street. 2 of those leave the curbs where they are and do different kind of work to the pavement surface. And the last alternate, called alternate number 3, is a compromise between a 44-foot wide street, which is what we currently have, and a 32-foot wide street. It's a 40-foot wide street. And hopefully the relevant factors for you to contemplate as part of this decision are there, cost being one of them. Other things to consider is the portion of curb that would be new. So in evaluating, in the end, is the product something that has, what is the longest life? Because obviously, once we repair a street, we don't have an opportunity to come back again in a while and fix it. So that has implications for the amount of curb that would get replaced in each of the scenarios, as well as the quality of the street system when we're done. Stormwater runoff is becoming more and more of an issue. Obviously, wider the street, the more runoff there is. As well then as the long-term maintenance costs of a narrow versus wide street. Those are the factors that are there for you to consider. So I would note that the cost of construction is not a literal cost. These numbers are only for comparison with each other. It is simply an accounting of the bid dollars and how these scenarios would compare to each other. So I just want to make sure that no one says it will cost $110,000, because that number is only relevant to the other numbers on the page.
Thank you.
I have a question where it says street system quality. Well, what exactly does that reference?
That's a good question. It's hard to quantify. So the difference between the bid item, the narrower street, option 1, and it should be alternate 1 and alternate 3, are that the entire street gets reconstructed. The base is removed, breaker rock is put down, fabric, gravel, 3 inches of asphalt. Those 3 are all the same processes, just narrower or wider. So that's the difference. But the city engineer provided an option that would be an assumption. Let's say 50% of the base is good, as it was suggested earlier. That might be the case. You don't know until you start. You can take soil borings, which we've done, which indicate that there may be some base that would be acceptable. So if the base is good, let's say 50% of the base is good, then you only have to remove 50% of the base. So that process would be, and the experts in the room may join in here, but 100 feet, let's say, where we determine we take off the asphalt, the base is good. The next 100 feet, the base is bad. So then you would dig that out and replace it. So if you can imagine a process by which the entire street system is taken out and reconstructed top to bottom the correct way, that system in the long run will have probably a better road in the long run than it would if it were pieces and pieces and pieces. Now, I'm not suggesting that there would be a failure to do what is called alternate number 2, but I think it warrants your consideration as to, what's in 30 years from now, what street's going to have a better likelihood of being not in need of reconstruction again. So we can't put a dollar amount on the quality of it, but I think it's worth noting.
So is that why the rank order is a one number higher than the option 1? It's due to the fact that you won't be 100% sure of the consistency of that process of reconstructing it?
That's why it has the lowest rank order for long-term maintenance. Is that your question?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
And the curb, the fact that you're only replacing a small amount of curb,
right,
and you've got this less than optimum, potentially, construction process.
Okay.
So these are all scenarios with doing something to the street?
Correct. And I can go through those scenarios if that would be helpful, but if you understand, then I certainly don't need to. Well,
and I don't want to start something here, but I just want to understand it better. What if nothing was done to the street?
No, we investigated the contract language. I'm guessing if nothing was done, the contractor would be eligible to reopen the contract and talk about, unit costs, because this is a unit cost bid. I don't know if you revisited the overall threshold for the whole project, different from what appears in our contract language that would put us in jeopardy of violating a contract.
If we did nothing on the street whatsoever and just abandoned the
on Park.
Just Park.
Okay. And I don't know what the breakdown is, but there is language in our contract such that if a change order up or down modifies the contract by more than 20%, and there's no corresponding change in the contract elsewhere that would make it more equal, the contractor has the right to come back and renegotiate. So, for example, a contractor will give you perhaps a lower quote because they anticipate doing a large area, because they have to mobilize the same amount of equipment for a large versus a small area. A small area costs more per foot. And so they may say, well, that's fine, you're saving on materials, but it's costing me just as much to get everything there. I'm entitled to more money, and they'd have the right to come back. Whether or not that would happen, again, I don't know at this point, because I don't know what the cost impact would be of eliminating Park from this, but that would be a consideration.
I was kind of wondering also, we did a couple streets in town, we just remilled it, but they didn't take care of the base at all. And what them figures would have been. I was just kind of curious, and that we don't have it there at all. Doing nothing, the street would stay the same, but remilling it would be definitely lower cost, but as Mona mentioned, you wouldn't take out any of the soft spots doing that, you know.
Yeah,
by Mike's.
I think your staff would probably recommend just simply remilling and ignoring any soft spots. So that's
Okay.
what the city engineer is attempting to quantify for you in this alternate number 2, whereby you would, in the end, attempt to address any problems with the street. Otherwise, it probably isn't a real good investment. So that's why the city engineers provided you with that option.
I don't think that would be wise to do for, like, say, if you were to go with option 1 for, you know, the extra 20-some thousand. I think you're in there doing it. I think we need to at least do some sort of investigating and make sure that we are repairing it properly while we're there. So I don't see alternate 2 as being wise.
So total.
I was going to say, I'd just remind you, at this point, we don't have a motion on the table. You're going to want to, if you're getting some preliminary discussion so that you understand the general parameters of what the motion will be is appropriate. But if we're going to go too far down this, we should probably have a motion to move it forward and then have additional discussion.
I just have one quick question on that.
Yes.
If we make a motion second, can audience still participate then?
Yes.
We'll let them.
Well, traditionally, we have.
Okay.
But if we make a motion in a second to alternate, then are we committing to alternating? I mean, if we're not decided yet if we want to alternate, I think that's the point where you'd make the motion to alternate if somebody actually has decided they want an alternation made.
Sure. If someone was in favor of, say, alternate number 2 and made that motion, is that committing you to it? If it's seconded, no, obviously not until everyone moves on it. If you go through 3 of these, you know, I favor option 1, you favor option 2, and you favor option 3, and none of them sustain a majority, it will fail and will be where we're at.
I'm going to make a motion that we move forward with the current plan to go with a 32-foot wide street with a complete reconstruction.
Is there a second?
So it's technically, that is a motion to deny change order
It would be a
number 1?
motion to deny the change order, effectively, yes. Thank you, Mona.
Is there a second? One more time, is there a second? Motion dies for lack of second.
I'll make a motion to go with option 1.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion.
So, and that's why I seconded it, because I wanted to have more discussion on it. Option 1 is the current width, staying at 44, right? Am I reading this correctly?
You are reading it correctly.
Okay. So some new curb, approximately 18% new curb.
Correct.
Long-term maintenance costs. Can you explain that, why that's a 3?
They're just in rank order, so just keep that in mind.
Okay.
It's not a rating, it's just, I just rank them.
Oh, I
Which one
see.
is more expensive than the other. We try to quantify some of the maintenance costs for you in the seal coating and crack filling. But in comparison with the other options, it is the 3rd most expensive.
Primarily because it's wider. If you look at alternate number 3, it's a narrower, so you're not going to spend as much on seal coating and plowing, et cetera. It's just slightly narrower.
So if we look at option 1 versus alternate 2, so they're both at 44 foot. The cost is different.
The maintenance ranking is based on the fact that in alternate number 1 or option number 1, you are doing a complete reconstruct, and in alternate number 2, you're doing a partial reconstruct. So it is expected that you probably wouldn't have a product as good in the end.
And you may have to go back sooner to redo rework, and then that's why it's a 4, because you didn't do everything right away, right from the get-go.
Possibly.
Possibly.
But it's cheaper to do this. But
It is, but
in the shorter,
long run, it may
right.
not be.
Okay. I see.
I just, and just so people in the audience understand, my biggest thing is here, we have a chance to redo this, completely reconstruct it, do a real nice job, have everything new so it all looks uniform rather than pieced together, which I'm never a fan of piecing stuff together. And that's kind of where I'm at with this project. And I mean, the plans are in place, the equipment's there. That's why I feel the way I do, just so you know.
And keeping it the same width,
The 32
correct?
No, the current,
No.
he's for reducing it.
No, oh, I see what you're saying. But I mean, this 44 is what is currently there now.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
I see. I see what you're saying.
I mean, I think we need to understand how difficult it is to get lined up and set up, get money okayed to do a nice job on a street. I hate to do a mediocre job when we can redo the whole thing, have it look nice, and not have to worry about it for another 50 years.
Well, I think that's what this option 1 is, though, isn't it?
It is a reconstruct, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Total
It's a
reconstruct.
reconstruct.
It is.
No, the asphalt is reconstructed, the curb, only 18% of the curb is replaced. It doesn't meet the definition of reconstruct.
So 50% does meet that definition,
Correct.
correct?
Yeah.
But it's
So-
still only a difference of 32% curb that's getting
Yeah.
replaced between what we are currently looking at doing and option 1.
Be a little careful with 32 because it's more than 50%, but I understand your point, but
Okay.
don't use 32 exactly
Correct.
because it is
Okay.
more than 50%. I didn't do the calculation.
Okay.
It's probably 60 or something, I don't know.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is there full curb-to-curb reconstruction on it?
No.
Go from the base of the curb to the base of the curb?
Wait, are you asking if all of the curb is being replaced on the...
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
What's your question?
I thought under option 1, it was, I thought you said earlier that the original option and option 1 and option 3 were full reconstructs other than the curb. Is that correct? You said
Streets,
fabric,
correct,
fabric, breaker on the base course.
right. They're the same level of
Okay, so
improvement.
you're going from the base of the, basically the flag of the curb, to the
Yes.
flag of the curb, to the full new pavement.
Correct.
Right.
Adam, did you have a question?
Well, I just was curious as to whether you're going to allow some input. I know that, well, unanimously against the narrowing, there may be some other input that we could offer that you might not be considering at this point in time. I know that you talked about, like with option 2, having a higher risk factor, because you're concerned that there might be some additional costs of repairing down the road. And I might remind you that it's been 30-plus years since the last time that it was actually worked on. And I think that if you did something currently with the asphalt that, and again, I've only been there about 3-4 years. I've not seen it resealed or anything, which is might indicate there's very little, you're not seeing the same type of indentation as far as sewers and that kind of thing, so, I mean, it's a nice price. I don't know professionally as far as option 2, the alternate 2. That I just don't think that you're going to have the same type of, I think that you're going to have the road last quite a bit.
Can I ask a question? Does the city have a policy as to how long roads are supposed to last? When you redo a road, I mean, is there an idea or is there an industry standard?
It's a rating. It isn't time, it's a rating. So if the pavements fail because we have bad base, or if the pavements fail because it carries heavy truck traffic, so it's based on a rating.
Have you guys done a traffic study on this street? Has the city done a traffic study to understand what the traffic levels are there and how that might impact how long it's going to last?
One of the primary reasons we looked at doing this street now was because we have Highland torn up, right? And so ideally, if we came back 5 years from now and drug all that traffic through Highland, it's troublesome to neighborhoods that are especially one in, one out neighborhoods. And it's also difficult on roads. So the reason these were coupled together was because we felt that they should be. So it isn't based on traffic count, because you'd probably never get reconstructed there, right? Because there's no traffic count. Yeah, so
what's the right answer?
that was never the basis, though, just so you know.
Good question,
The
no?
traffic was never the basis.
What's
Mike?
expected life of the sewer line? When are you going to be back in there to get the sewer line?
Televised?
I think that's the biggest thing, because they're making a 50-year decision right now.
That's true.
Sewer line?
When's the sewer line? Is it 50 more years, or 40 years? Is it 30 years?
I don't know, Mike. We televised it, sewer's in excellent shape, and we've had no trouble with the water main.
So we can't,
I can tell you.
I mean,
what we can't
it's a
do,
guess. We're all guessing, but you're not expecting to be in there in 10 years.
It's not on the plan right now to do Park Avenue.
That would, in my opinion, you're going to redo the street. That's when you redo everything.
well,
But if
can't
we,
afford to do
if
that.
we did that on every street, it would either be, we would be waiting so long to where that street is completely deteriorated to wait for that sewer to go down, or else we are never replacing, or we're replacing sewers with every street we do, even though the sewers don't need it, and there's no way that that's possibly fundable.
There's a fine line to go walk. Of course, we understand. I understand what you're saying. And what I'm just saying is, there's an expectation out there. Is it, are we thinking you're going to get 30 years out of the street or not? And I'm not voting, I'm not telling you how to vote either way. I'm just saying that should be what we're looking for. It's been this way, that street up there has been there for 30 years, let's say, easily, without any touching to it other than a seal coat. So if there's a chance to get the other 30 years out at a lower cost, in my opinion, it makes more sense, especially if they're going to go in at 30. If it's going to be 50 until this stuff, we don't know. And I'm putting them on the spot, but that, I think, needs to be part of your decision-making is we are going to have to go back up there and do the street. Because you are not doing them. I'm not saying
Right, and that was discussed earlier on when we discussed it.
Exactly.
The sewer lines were evaluated back when we first started talking about this, and we made the decision then whether or not we were going to deal with those sewer lines. And it was no, because we didn't feel it made sense. So.
When you got into the water valves and stuff, they got changed? I mean, all that stuff's coming, all the copper that's coming off is good. I mean,
Well, as far as we know, it is.
Yes.
I mean, we haven't had any trouble up there with services other than maybe one or two.
that to me is part of it.
And that makes sense, but again, if we can't justify doing it,
Maybe it's a mill. Maybe
right.
it's a mill 3 inches off the top to repave it. Fix the pieces of curb, mill 3 inches off the top, don't touch the base. Fix the 1 or 2 soft spots that are on the road or on the manhole, and that's it. Maybe it's not 50%. Maybe this $112,000 number is 80 or 60.
right.
I don't know, Ramon, I'm throwing numbers out.
Correct, and the note on the staff report is that the engineer asked to is, we don't know. And so it could be more than 50%, it could be less than 50%. We don't know until you get out there and start taking it off.
Larry?
How soon would it take you to find out with the contractor if he would charge you something extra or not? I think that's something you need to make a decision on. Because if the contractor says it's going to be X amount of dollars for changing the contract, that's one thing. If he says, not a big deal, that's something else again.
So that would be only relevant if there's an option that says do nothing. So if that motion is made, then the council would have to make that knowing that we either have to get that information.
You don't have that information, or obviously you don't have it tonight, or couldn't have it.
I think what she's saying is that the only way that would come into play is if we decide not to do anything at all with the street.
Because these other modifications don't get to the threshold where the contractor has the ability to renegotiate.
And how much would it cost to have the contractor move all the fill that they put in, not their property?
Thank you for letting us know. I was unaware, but we will talk with you tomorrow about it.
Starting to fill it in to put a road through there.
I noticed it last week, a lot of fill.
Gene?
I totally kind of know what you're discussing, we're talking road, and Mike Wilcox is much more familiar with that, but I just think if we can do something to the road to smooth it out, keep it wide, whatever option that is, if there's one, that's what I would do.
So what was the motion?
The motion was to approve change order number 1 for Highland and Park and option 1.
Okay.
Or alternate 1, whichever you want to call it.
Okay, you're on option one.
That's the motion, correct?
Motion, okay. The 138,366, is that over and above the already 470,000 or whatever?
Those numbers are only relative to each other. So the only thing that really is relevant on this piece of paper is the current bid is 110 compared to 138 for the alternate. So just relative to each other, not, it isn't the change order, if it comes out to be literal, we would be adding to the contract the difference between 110 and 138. So that's the money the city would have to find if that change order were approved.
Okay, can I ask Mike to explain something to me? Because you seem to know a lot about this.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Can you explain, now, the option number 1 and option number 2, what is the real difference here? Number 2 says a partial reconstruct. Is that where you're talking about just taking 3 inches off?
No. Ramon is doing, and under what I'm reading right here, we're doing 50% of the streets getting new base course, and it's all the soft spots.
Okay.
Have bad base course. You might find that the top 3 inches are deteriorated, Chris, and, from frost, and you might have a bunch of the base down there that's not good. We don't know that. She made an estimate saying 50% of that street, you're going to go in and cut out the hole. We call it undercut when we're building roads.
Okay.
And cut out, basically, you're going to get that section that you're doing on option number 1, you're going to get that under those pieces. You'll cut down, put fabric under it. Because the rest of it, while they're out there, the engineers need to make a decision while they're doing it. And they say, yeah, cut it out. Take the back, we'll scratch down, look at the gravel. Put it back in, it's good, go.
Soft spots, right?
Yeah. Like I said, my opinion is you should go with 2. That's my opinion.
But again, that's leaving,
I just, from the city's aspect,
future.
I think for what's up there and what I've seen on that street and not moving and not having the truck flow and not
So you might
having,
as well spend it now.
Well, I don't want to sound real stupid here, but I'm still not understanding the real difference between 1 and 2, though. Was one mean you're taking everything out, going all the way
you're
down?
going from the edge of the curb, the flange, they call it. They're going from the flange of the curb, they're cutting down, what's the pavement?
Probably 9, Tom? 9 inches? I don't know, 9 inches.
Breaker run, then base course on
So
top
with
of that.
alternate 2, you're only going to do that where there's soft spots?
Yes,
Correct.
occasionally.
And then those.
Then that's
spots
why
that
I'm
could may
struggling.
end
Why
up
would
turning
that,
into soft spots.
but why would that be cheaper then? That's where I'm struggling.
Because you have a lot less
Bring
material
as
you have to
much.
bring in, and you're not hauling as
Plus
much stuff away.
You're doing less work.
Okay,
Building walls, patching the hole.
gotcha. Okay, thank you.
And
I just want to make sure I
my
understand
opinion
it.
in the industry, in my opinion, is we don't have soft streets. It's not going, we're probably some of the best sand and gravel country in the area.
If you get a lot of people parking up there, though.
When you dig up a Highland, me and Randy have been looking at it, it's really good. Underneath the Highland, it's just rock, it's really sturdy stuff, it's unbelievable.
Got a question in the back.
I don't want to know what stuff he is.
There was going to be some sort of a curbing done so that water wouldn't floodage my yard. Yes, I noticed that. Any of these options that's still going to be, it was a curb that was supposed to curb the water away from.
I know.
18 at the west end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that will still be addressed, though, in any of these scenarios, though, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
Unless you say do nothing, and then you'd have to decide if you're going to do something. But so far, this option would include
definitely.
Both ends getting terminated correctly.
So if we were to go with just simply resurfacing and not touching any of the sub-base, then we are not basically helping any of the drainage problems.
Yeah, your staff would recommend that you do consider doing that, but we have to be clear on your motion if you made a motion to do nothing, right?
Okay.
We would want to make sure we knew that because we think it's important to finish
Right.
those two ends and deal with the stormwater.
So alternate number 2 is going to be closest to the price that we're looking at with what we plan on doing.
If you did 50%.
Okay.
And that one has the most risk with it, of course. You got
Right.
the highest, greatest chance of saving money and the greatest chance of spending money.
And Mike, you said you don't think there's a lot of soft up there, just from your, and how do you know that? I mean, I know you're in the business, but I mean, what do you look for to know
A lot
that?
of times you'll see, most of the thing, I think these guys over here will be the first to agree. So what typically happens is where any lines cross it, you know, the road gets built and it just, the trenches tend to settle and everything else, and that's when you come back and then the pavements start to fail, because the trenches are failing. It's a commonplace that it does happen, and the last time that street was gotten into was when they built going into that house. That was the last time, and you can go look in front of my driveway, you can see where it's settled. You know, they can only do so much, you come back, but after now, it's been 4 years, that's all settled down, not touching it. You know, obviously when you go back in and eventually have to do something with the sewer and water up there, that's, in my opinion, that's when the time to do it.
Yeah,
And you're gonna do it all.
Basically settled, you know.
Yeah, that's what happens. The stuff below settles, the top stuff loses its strength.
Go in with
That's
sewer
when
and
you see
water
it.
and
Because the area you're doing there, when they're dumping all that fill down by, at the end, they kind of roughed it up by the old Apple House down there, or Aston House.
go with the
Okay.
lower.
So, wait, can I call the question, motion to accept alter number 2?
This is a motion to call the question.
Well, right now we're on option number
Option one.
1, so you can call the question
Call the
to
question.
move
Bear with
on.
me, I'm learning this.
Move on option 1, because that's the motion on the table. You can amend, perhaps, I'm not sure how we would, but you could propose an amendment to option number 1.
Yeah, it'll be cleaner
That'd be-
to
it'd be-
deal with one.
Yeah,
and
right.
then
So if you can-
that-
I'm just impressed that you want to call the question, Jonathan. Good for you. You sound like you know more than what you're admitting.
Got somebody calling a question here, we got to...
Oh,
Is there
yeah.
a second on that?
I'll second.
That cuts off debate.
Okay.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to call the question. We'll take a roll call on that motion. Roll call. To call the question.
Who was the second, please?
That was Mark.
Ready? Fry? This is a motion to call the question now, not a vote on the motion itself.
Yeah, yes.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Motion passes. Now we have to take a roll call on the original motion,
Okay, that makes sense, okay.
and that is to option 1, wasn't it?
Option number 1.
Okay.
Correct.
Read the motion back quick, please.
And did you note the motion and second on that, hopefully?
Yeah,
Yes.
that
And
was
it was?
Mark and Candy.
That's not debatable, right, Chris?
No, you got to vote here.
Ready?
Yep.
Mark Walnuts?
No.
Davis?
No.
Fry?
No.
McIntyre?
No.
Chris Walnuts?
No.
Okay, option 1, motion fails.
Now, Jonathan, if you wanted to.
I motion to accept alter number 2.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion, and I saw, sorry about that.
That's okay. Sarah Mulroney, 601 Park Avenue. I think when you make a decision now, you need to remind yourselves that we have no sidewalk on the street, which if we all wanted, there's plenty of place for people to walk their dogs, kids ride their bikes. By then narrowing the street at all, you then limit that safe space. So, something to consider.
Thank you.
So both of these options that we've been talking about is not narrowing it.
I understand.
Yep. Okay. I didn't know if you realized that.
I got a question for Tom. How do you feel about this option? Do you think it's going to make a good product when we're done?
I would stay with option 1, because then you know what you've got. Now you're going to go out there and try to piecemeal a street together, and then it's up to me to fix it in about 5 years when it starts to fail.
All right, I have a question then regarding that. If we do option 1, or we want to replace and all that, the subgrade, as we do have then a perfect opportunity to actually physically visualize the sewage system, correct?
We televise the sewage system.
So we never get down far enough to really
No.
be able to, okay,
We televise it, that's how we determine it.
okay.
And you did determine the water just by, if there's breaks.
I guess the way I'm seeing this, and you guys tell me if I'm thinking the wrong direction or not, for the price difference, I don't understand why we wouldn't go with option one then and know we have a good product when we're done.
I really agree, like I made the motion to begin with. I just think for the cost difference.
I mean, if Tom, I trust your thoughts, and if that's what you think.
Sure.
At the end of the day, if it's going to be a better product, then we're not going to have to deal with it. I think we're better off. Mike, what do you, I mean?
You're spending money.
I understand that.
I think the street's good. I'm not going to get anything like Tom. He doesn't want to have a headache. I could be dead wrong.
And the only way we're going to...
Yeah, would you pay the difference if you're wrong?
Yeah, you want us to listen to you, so we're listening to you, so.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, the only way you're going to know is once you get into it.
Right.
So, I mean, you could end up getting into it and realizing, yeah, we probably should do the whole thing.
So I think we're safer to go with one, so then we have that option where if we don't need to do what we feel we need to do, then we have the option to not do it. And we're safeguarding ourselves in the event that we do need to do it.
Alternate 2 is going to be a field decision. Every 10 feet, it's going to be a
Right,
field
I
decision by
understand
somebody in the field to decide what you
And
have.
I don't like that. I just don't like it. I like to know what we're doing going into
Right, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I kind of.
If you wanted to go with option one, you'd have to change your,
No, well, we'll vote on what we...
I make a motion, call the question.
I'll second.
Blame it on the new guy.
Okay,
Actually,
motion to call the question.
procedure.
Roll call.
Mark Wellnitz.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Fry.
Yes.
McIntyre.
Yes.
Chris Wellnitz.
yes.
Okay, and now the original motion is to approve change order for alternate number 2.
Actually, we have to remake a motion, right?
No.
Oh, it is?
So you gotta vote.
We have to vote now.
Oh, you're right. Yep, I'm sorry.
So, roll call.
Fry.
No.
McIntyre. Chris Wellnitz.
No.
Davis.
No.
Mark Wellnitz.
No.
Okay, that one failed.
I'm going to make a motion to go with option one, current width.
We have to reconsider this? Motion to reconsider?
It could be a reconsideration.
Wouldn't have to be, 'cause we already voted it down.
It's the same session.
Yep.
I guess it
You
makes
need it
more
or not,
sense
I
to do it
guess.
right the first time
Yeah.
instead of...
I would do a motion for reconsideration, just to be absolutely
I'll
correct.
make a motion to reconsider
I'll
option
second.
one.
Okay, any discussion on that?
Please no.
So this is a motion to reconsider, not a motion for option.
That is correct.
Then it's open again.
Roll call.
Mark Wellnitz.
Yes.
McIntyre.
Yes.
Chris Wellnitz.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Fry.
Yes.
I'll make a motion for option number 1 then.
I'll second that.
Discussion.
I don't have no more questions.
Option 1.
I know.
Is that money available if we pass this one?
It'll be
So if it's,
$27,000 we don't have to spend on something else. 26.
no further discussion, roll call.
McIntyre.
Yes.
Fry.
Yes.
Chris Wellnitz.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Mark Wellnitz.
Yes.
Motion passes.
So just so the council is clear, these numbers are an estimate for
Right.
your discussion this evening. The actual change order will be a different number than this. So
Okay.
we'll do our best to get it as close, but it'll be what it is.
Yes, he was.
Thank you for doing all this.
Yeah, thanks, Lou, for coming down.
And Gail for coming down.
You bet.
I get it.
Yep, no problem. Thanks for coming.
Thank you guys for all your work as well.
Okay. Okay, I'll follow up with that. No problem. Thank you for coming down.
Hard feelings?
No, not at all.
He's got skin like leather. Thanks, Adam.
Is that all you had over there, Mark?
I'm just trying to figure that out now. I think so.
I think that's all you had.
I think that's all I have for finance.
Okay, Plan Commission. We meet?
I can't even remember. I think but there's nothing to, well.
Oh, the garage. Conditional use for the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. On Hain Road. Okay, took care of Lyle, so he was able to get out of here.
That's right.
Next one is to consider approving the second reading and adopt City of Edgerton Ordinance 16-02, amend Chapter 2, Section 2.502, Board of Review.
I'll make that a motion.
I'll second.
What is the ordinance? Actually,
Yeah.
Making modifications as per the statutes, or a new law regarding telephone and written statement participation by Board of Review members. And the Board of Review is where follows open book, where people challenge their assessed values.
sounds exciting.
It's
Sounds
terribly-
very exciting.
Can be.
I
Especially nobody
missed the
shows.
motion and second on that. Could-
That was Mark.
Got it.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Wellnitz.
Yes.
McIntyre.
Yeah.
Chris Wellnitz.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Fry.
Yes.
Motion passes. Mayor, alderperson, and staff reports. I don't know who all gets the Gazette or saw Sarah Williams on the front page of it. She was given a United Way Award.
Wonderful.
Well deserved.
She's done an awful lot for the outreach and the city of Edgerton and the surrounding community, and I'd like to thank her for her efforts. So it's from Thursday, the 28th, if anybody wants to check that out.
I think she deserves that.
Need more people like that in town. Need more- a lot of-
Welcome, Jonathan.
Blame you.
I think that's all I have.
That's probably one of the most in-depth discussions I had for a new council member since I've been here. It's pretty good.
Wow. I
For the first
barely
time.
made it out.
I will make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.851E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Discuss and consider redevelopment project on South Main Street.
I'll second.
Can someone bring me up to speed a little bit on that?
Well, none of us know.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yep, sorry.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call.
Mark Wellnitz.
Yes.
McIntyre.
Yes.
Chris Wellnitz.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Fry.
Yes.